What's the one taste from your childhood you wish you could have just one more time? Not just remember, but actually hold in your hand again. For so many of us, those memories are tied to the crinkle of a wrapper, the rustle of a paper bag, and the jingling of a few coins in our pocket money. We're stepping back through the sweet shop doors of the past, shelves stacked high with treasures wrapped in foil and bright colours, to find 10 ghosts of the counter. These are the iconic British sweets that, for one reason or another, are no longer with us. Let's see how many of these you remember. Right, let's start with a hidden gem, the Banjo Bar. If Twix was the sensible big brother, Banjo was the cheeky, nutty cousin. 2 flavours, roasted peanut in a bright blue wrapper and coconut in a bold red one. Tear one open and you'd get that instant whiff of roasted nuts or sweet coconut wrapped around that crunchy wafer. It had a proper bite to it, the sort of snap you'd hear across the school canteen. For kids in the 70s and 80s, it was often discovered by chance, tucked into your mum's Safeway bag or slipped into your packed lunch as a surprise, and then, almost overnight, gone. Mention Banjo now and someone will always say, "Oh, I'd forgotten all about those." And from one nutty treat, let's move to something far more exotic. Now here's one that split the playground in two, the Cabana Bar. Coconut, caramel, and of all things, a whole cherry plonked right in the middle. The smell was tropical, almost perfumed, and the adverts made it look like luxury itself. Palm trees swaying, sunshine, an escape from drizzle on a grey Tuesday in Leeds. For some, that cherry bite was pure magic. For others, it was a shock to the system, like biting into pudding when you weren't expecting it. So, settle it once and for all in the comments. Were you Team Cabana, or did you spit out the cherry and never look back? From an exotic gamble to a sweet that was steady as a rock. Sometimes it wasn't about glamour. Toffo was the solid mate you could always count on. That little cardboard tube rattling in your pocket was unmistakable. You'd slide one out, unwrap the waxy paper, and there it was. A golden toffee disc, smooth to the touch and smelling of caramel. Pop it in, and you had 2 choices. Suck until it softened and glued your teeth together, or risk crunching it and nearly losing a filling. Sharing toffos was part of the ritual. Passing them round on the bus, pocket money Saturdays, or during long school trips. When they vanished, it felt like losing an old friend. But if Toffo was comforting, the next one was daring, futuristic even. Here's one that made you feel sophisticated, the Pyramint. It looked like something out of a science fiction film, dark chocolate moulded into a perfect pyramid. Crack it open and the smell of peppermint would hit you straight away, sharp and cool. But then came the risk, that runny fondant centre just waiting to burst out. One careless bite and you'd have sticky mint all over your hands, your school jumper, even your homework. It wasn't just a sweet, it was an operation. Could you eat it without disaster? Most of us failed spectacularly, but oh, what a mess worth making. Speaking of mystery, the next one truly lived up to its name. You can't trust anyone to keep a secret. The jingle still lingers, doesn't it? The bar itself looked almost fragile, a chocolate lattice like a bird's nest hiding a mousse inside. Peel back the wrapper and you'd get that faint, sweet smell. Lighter than most bars, almost delicate. It melted in your mouth in a way that felt posh compared to the chunky Mars or Galaxy. It wasn't something you'd scoff after football. This was a quiet treat, often with a cuppa, the sort of bar your mum might hide for herself. And then, one day, it vanished, slipping away as silently as its name suggested, from secrets to countdowns and one unforgettable jingle. Go on, you can still hear it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 bar was chaos neatly packaged. Wafer, fondant, caramel and biscuit, all stacked like a chocolate skyscraper. Kids would make it last, peeling it away layer by layer, each crunch echoing in the classroom. It wasn't just food, it was a challenge. And with that jingle in the background, it felt like a game show prize you'd won for 15 pence. Pure 80s joy. But while 54,321 was playful, the next one was steeped in tradition. Now we go back even further. Spangles. Simple boiled sweets in a cardboard tube, yet each one was a jewel. Hold one up to the light and it would glow, translucent and colourful. The taste was sharp and fruity, the kind that lingered for ages. Long car journeys were fueled by Spangles. Your parents passing the tube over the seats as you argued about who got the last one. And always, two of them stuck together, fused forever in the wrapper. Discontinued in the early 80s, but for those who grew up in the 60s and 70s, they're unforgettable. From something light and fruity to a sweet that tested every tooth in your head. The Texan Bar wasn't just chewy, it was legendary. Rip one open and you'd get that caramel smell straight away. Then came the bite, and bite, and bite. A man's gotta chew wasn't a slogan, it was a warning. You could spend half of break time wrestling with one, jaw aching, teachers glaring because you were still chewing when the lesson started. But finishing a Texan felt like a proper victory. It wasn't just a sweet, it was a challenge you conquered. And if Texan was tough, the next one was total mayhem in a wrapper. For kids of the 90s, Fuse was a revelation. Tear one open, and you'd see and smell the chaos inside. Raisins, nuts, fudge, cereal, all bound together with thick chocolate. It was lumpy, unpredictable, and somehow perfect. You never knew what bite you'd get next. Chewy, crunchy, sweet, salty. The adverts were loud, colourful, and brash, just like the decade itself. And then, just like that, it disappeared. People still shake their heads. How could something so popular vanish without warning? And finally, we reached the crown jewel of them all. And finally, the Aztec Bar. Cadbury's proud rival to the Mars Bar, but with a reputation all its own. Unwrap one and you'd see glossy chocolate, smell rich caramel, and taste nougat that somehow felt smoother, richer, more indulgent than anything else. For many, it was the holy grail of sweets. Its brief comeback in 2000 only proved what fans already knew. Some memories can't be recreated. The Aztec was more than a bar. It was a legend of its time, and there we have it. 10 sweet shop legends that vanished from Britain's shelves. They might be gone, but their memory still lingers. In the crinkle of a wrapper, the smell of a corner shop, and the jingles that never quite leave your head. So, which one still haunts your taste buds? Which would you bring back if you could? Share your stories in the comments, we'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this nostalgic stroll down memory lane, give the video a like and subscribe to Retro Britannia. We've got plenty more trips into the past waiting for you. Cheers for watching.